Alrighty, hello internet. We are today going to have a look at my new song Delta and basically how I came up with that one and all the different sounds that I use in the song. So you can kind of guess what this one's inspired by the title, I reckon. But yeah, very guitar heavy song. Again, pretty basic, like a lot of my songs, but there's a few different layers, so we'll have a quick look. So to start off with, if you haven't already, check the song out on Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp, the whole shebang, all the usual suspects. But yeah, have a listen. So this is pretty much how it starts. Cool. So we can break it down. There's a few, there's a few different guitar parts that are going on in here. To start off with, there's that main riff. And the intro is just like a real stripped back, like clean sounding guitar version of that. You can have a listen to that. So yeah, the whole song was recorded on the new Chapman that you see in the music video for it. But yeah, that's sort of like the crunchy, clean tone at the start. It's broken up, so have a listen. So it's like our main riff on like a distorted guitar sound, and then that's double tracked, which are hard pan left to right as well. So that's like the main riff of the song. When we jump into it, there's also, I guess you'd call it quad tracking, but there's new, essentially this guitar part is just a higher version of the same sort of thing. So doing the higher part of the chord. And that's a little bit quieter in the mix, but then altogether all the guitars sort of make one big sound, sort of like this. Yeah, just so you get sort of full range of frequencies that the guitar can produce anyway. But then we've also got the bass guitar too in that part as well, if you want to have a listen. So again, just sort of filling out the low end of that main riff. A little bit messy, but you get the gist. And then all together, that's all the guitars with the bass, sounds like this. So yeah, as you heard there, sort of going into that next riff. I'll grab my guitar so I can quickly play it. So this is actually what I came up with first. So yeah, it's the... So a fun riff because it's just bouncing from the top E string and then a few different notes on the A string there. Which makes it nice and fun. But yeah, have a listen because it's the guitar and bass doing it at the same time as well. And then just that little bridging bend, which is literally just an E chord. Should probably talk about the drums there too, because I always forget about the drums. Just because I'm not that good of a drummer. But yeah, essentially, if you have a listen, It's the first part there. So yeah, you can hear the first bit, and then obviously the double kicks come in, that second riff, or like the verse riff, I guess you'd call it. And then after that bridging E chord, so yeah, fair bit of repetition. It goes back to that same main riff, just with I don't know, my idea of instrumental music to try and keep it nice and easy, so people have still got like something to latch onto, try and make it catchy even though it's instrumental. Halfway through the chorus though, or that main riff I should say, it's buried real deep, but you can just hear it. So it's this synth pattern here. So if you want to have a listen to that one, it's quite quiet in the mix. So if you listen with good headphones, you could probably hear it, but on its own, and that's actually using like a tap bang riff that comes in later into the later in the song that we do on guitar as well. But yeah, it's just using this Dex synthesizer, which is awesome. It's a free one, really powerful. And then yeah, all I did was basically just put a little bit of reverb on there. So definitely check that one out. So in context, I'll play it, but I'll crank the volume of the synth so you get an idea for it. And then yeah, halfway through that synth started playing, we've got another one that comes in. Have a listen. And yeah, that one's literally just doing its doing that main riff from earlier. So them together. Yeah, it's kind of like a couple of counter melodies that are just buried really deep in the song, which I kind of like. I really enjoy doing that with music, because like overall this song is like, it's a pretty basic song. The structure is pretty simple. The riffs are pretty simple. The hardest part would be the solo most likely. So then having those extra layers that you really have to listen for can make it a bit more exciting. For me at least anyway. Going on from there, that drum beat pretty much continues throughout. And then, yeah, that sort of leads us into the breakdown part here. I guess you'd call it. So this would be our like third section of the song, because we've had like, I guess you'd say chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, breakdown maybe. But yeah, have a listen in context. Again, pretty basic. Most of what you're hearing is just guitar, bass, and drums. That's the riff on its own. And double tracked, so left and right. And bass is literally doing the exact same thing, so you can listen to that as well. And then the drums are sort of what keeps this part driving, because halfway through it does change into like a double kick pattern. It's like halftime feel. And then it really starts to push into the next section. Yeah, again, back to that same original riff. Keep it nice and cruisy. Try and make that the catchy part of the song. So again, after we go to that main riff, so yeah, second verse it would be just literally drum and bass, which is very like punk or pop punk band thing to do. It very much takes roots from that. But yeah, like I love just having just the bass and drums on its own as well in such a guitar heavy song, even if it's just brief. Sort of splits it up a little bit from the same old. Cool. So this is that guitar part that I was mentioning earlier. So once that synthesizer kicks in from earlier, which is this one. So now I've added this part on guitar in that same section. So have a listen on its own. And then this is sort of like the main solo section of the song, which like if you saw any of the videos on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, this is like the main part that I use to really push the song at least. Because to me, it's the most exciting. Because pretty much everything comes back in. So if you have a listen, we've got everything that we did before. So I'll play it through, adding instruments one at a time, starting with the drums. But then obviously we have the guitar solo on top as well. So have a listen with it, and I'll click it in and out. And then obviously the rhythm part goes back into the breakdown section there, and then the ending goes into the double time breakdown, but then it's still got the synthesizers added back in there. Yeah, and fun little tapping riff to end the song off pretty much, and then the delay just carries it out. But yeah, it's not too hectic, so and that's pretty much the whole song. Realistically, there's not much to it. Yeah, honestly, the hardest thing if you were going to play the song would be the solo, and even that's not too crazy. This part here, I probably should mention, is very like John Petrucci inspired, so like you can probably hear it similar to end solo in Glasgow Kiss almost, but not as good. But yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps that up for this song. Thanks for checking this video out, at least, as well. Yeah, if you like the song, definitely add it on Spotify or Apple Music, however you want to have a listen. And this podcast should be up on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, the whole shebang, pretty much. But yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and peace and love.